You know that feeling when you set out for one place, only to find yourself completely, totally captivated by something unexpected along the way? A simple walk can suddenly turn into this profound journey, not because you got to where you were going, but because something stopped you, something that just demanded your attention. So let's dive into that idea.
And this line from the writer Dal Bianco, wow, it just captures that feeling perfectly, right? The destination, the sea, that was the goal. But the memory, the thing that actually happened, was the tree. And in that moment, the whole purpose of the journey just vanishes. All that's left is the encounter. So it really makes you wonder, what has that kind of power? The power to just interrupt our plans, our forward momentum, and change not just our path, but our entire focus.
Well, in this story, the answer is the plane tree. But really, it's not just a tree. It's an interruption. Think about it. Our paths are usually horizontal, right? We're moving from point A to point B. But the tree? The tree is this vertical force that just cuts right through that line, demanding we look up.
And this idea, believe it or not, is ancient. Herodotus tells us that Xerxes I, a conquering king on a full-blown war campaign, halted his entire army just to admire a plane tree. I mean, just picture that. The most powerful forward-moving force of its time brought to a dead stop by a single tree. And this brings up something really fundamental about how we encounter the world. In one of Aesop's fables, some travelers first experience the cooling shade of a plane tree. It's only after they feel its benefit that they start to judge it, calling it useless. And the tree's reply is this timeless reminder. The direct experience, that always comes before our interpretation.
So there it is. That's the tree's real power. It's not its size or even its beauty, necessarily. It's its unique ability to just make us stop. It doesn't need an explanation. It just offers its presence and forces a pause in our constant need to just keep moving.
Okay, so the tree makes us stop. But what actually happens in that pause? When we're stopped in our tracks, what do we discover in this little world created under the shade of the tree?
Well, think about one of the most famous philosophical conversations ever recorded, Plato's Phaedrus. Socrates doesn't have his breakthrough moment in some stuffy room. Nope, he's led by Phaedrus to a spot by a river under the shade of a magnificent plane tree. The place itself is what makes the conversation possible. So you see, the shade isn't just an absence of sunlight. It's this special kind of environment. It's a place that actually changes how we think and how we talk to each other. It slows us down, it filters out the harshness of the world, and it allows for a totally different kind of conversation to begin. Just imagine what that space is like. You're hearing the rustle of leaves, not the roar of traffic. The light is gentle, filtered. Time itself seems to slow down a little bit. It becomes a place for real dialogue, not just heated debate. It's really no wonder that legend says Hippocrates himself taught the art of healing under a plane tree. It's just a natural space for contemplation and restoration. This all sounds amazing, right? This deep, ancient relationship we have with trees and their shade. But what happens when that vital space is threatened? What's the real impact on a city's soul when its oldest witnesses are suddenly removed? Back in 1916, right in the middle of a war, you'd think poets would be writing about cannons. But the poet Charlotte Mew was writing about the sound of saws in London. She described the felling of these old street trees, this whispering loveliness, and came to an absolutely devastating conclusion. For her, half the spring would be gone with them.
And the contrast is so stark, isn't it? With the tree you have whispering loveliness and slowed time, a dense, rich spring. But without it, there's just rushed noise, harsh sunlight, and a thinner air. Mew's phrase, half the spring, that isn't a statistic, it's a feeling, a sensory reality. The season might still show up, but its depth, its very density is just gone.
So the loss, it's just so much deeper than we think. It isn't just ecological. When a great tree is cut down, we lose a container of memory, a way of slowing down time, and a very specific, irreplaceable way the city experienced its own existence. Okay, so if this connection is so vital to the character and memory of our cities, then maybe we're thinking about it all wrong. How can we move from just managing them to actually truly living with them?
Two poets kind of show us a new path. Amy Levy imagines the plane tree not as some passive object, but as an active listener, taking in all the sounds and sorrows of the city.
And the Korean poet Kim Hen-sung suggests we move beyond just worshiping the tree to something more practical and maybe more profound, simply being its neighbor.
And this leads to this really beautiful new idea, urban neighborliness. It's this practice of treating a tree not as a piece of infrastructure to be managed or as a problem, but as a fellow resident, a neighbor who has a right to its own space, its own time to grow, and its own future within the community.
And that brings us right back to our original author, Dal Bianco, who leaves us with this final, kind of difficult challenge. He asks us to see the tree without love, without any reservations of reality. Now, this isn't a call to be cold. It's a call to see the tree for what it is, beyond our own labels, beyond our projections and romantic ideas, to just appreciate its fundamental existence.
So we end right where we began, on a walk. This whole journey started with a tree that changed a destination. Now the question is for you. On your next walk, what's going to have the power to stop you? And what will you discover in that pause?